Some games become memorable when audio engineers figure out a perfect score to fit the theme. Others have superior controls and combat that make every button press satisfying. But what about a game that seems to combine these and many other elements to make something truly unforgettable? In 2015, the world was introduced to the Moon Studios' creation, Ori and the Blind Forest. It wasn't the only title at this time to bring out beautiful design wrapped in a good story to create a unique experience. But it also added very clean navigation of the world and an awe-inspiring soundtrack to make it soar in popularity. Now, after 5 years, we have the successor, Ori and the Will of the Wisps. Upon launching, you're greeted with the familiar atmosphere of the previous Ori game. While the menu isn't extensive, you have the benefits of an in-game achievement list and leaderboards to keep you particular players interested in completion and competition. Choose your difficulty from 3 selections and head into the story. We pick up a short while after the end of the original game, where Ori and their family welcome a new addition, Ku, from the egg of the now-gone Kuro. After some time passing and learning how to fly, Ori and Ku find themselves stranded and separated in Niwen, a dangerous forest plagued by a decay that threatens them all. It's here that we begin to see some of the differences with Will of the Wisps. This sequel still maintains the platforming, solving puzzles, and exploration nature of the original, but we now have access to a more fleshed out combat system. Instead of a spirit attacking enemies for Ori, we now have the ability to go toe-to-toe with our favorite spirit guardian. You may only start off with a torch, which is even effective against very large creatures apparently, but you soon gain access to spirit attacks for even more variability and power. This entire new system makes the combat so much more enjoyable than the first game, and is made even better when you start to acquire spirit shards to enhance many different aspects of Ori. It can be combat, health, extra jumps, and much more. There are also quite a lot to collect and upgrade across your entire playtime. Fans of Hollow Knight are going to see some very similar mechanics here. And honestly, while it may not be original to Ori, it really does bring this game to new heights. All of a sudden we have this new world to explore full of monsters that we can now take down with spirit sword slashes, piercing streams of light arrows, or set up your own autonomous spirit turret to even the odds. There's more than just these to find along the way. There's a fairly large cast of characters native to Niwen that dive deep into the current and past culture of their land. And they don't just stand around pretending to populate the world. There's many fun and important quests that can give you to help rebuild Niwen to its former beauty, or several of them can offer different skills, upgrades, and maps to assist Ori along the way. This adds a layer of life to a game's world, and without it, this title would be lacking a lot of substance. But it definitely doesn't lack an environment to look at, as you'll be engrossed in some of the most beautiful art design in the game I've seen. Seriously, just take a look. It makes you truly appreciate the kind of hard work and dedication that goes into making these environments just for us to pass through it at blinding speed. And for a platformer, this is where the game actually begins to shine the brightest. A platforming title that has large areas to traverse and puzzles to solve with clunky controls is a horrible experience. But Ori and the Will of the Wisps improved upon the original mechanics of the Blind Forest. You'll still be jumping from wall to wall, solving movement puzzles, flying from projectile to projectile, and navigating dangerous landscapes. But you'll also be sticking to blue moss-covered overhangs, dashing under enemy attacks, and even lassoing through the sky to really take advantage of this vertical playspace. I can't even begin to explain how satisfying every single move you make really is. The feeling you get when you're dashing midair into a swarm of enemies and have to dodge an attack before quickly coming back in for the killing blow is exhilarating. And really, a game like this should do these things. And it should do it alongside some well-crafted audio. can't get over the soundtrack. It's ambient, cinematic, sad, happy, and epic just when you need it to be. Every song fits the area it's placed into, and the artists responsible really do deserve recognition for how much it adds to the immersion. I can say a lot of similar things about the sound effects as well. Every terrain has a different symphony of accenting sounds, and you'll really feel every strike from Ori's weapons or despair when Ori is defeated. But it really comes down to the environment. It's when water is rushing towards you, or when lightning fills the sky, that the sound pushes its extreme urgency into your actions. The sound pushes you just as much as the gameplay. What you've really got here is a great example of what a studio can create when all elements of design seem to come together in harmony. The game still has some issues with performance at times, or you may encounter a bug that briefly sends Ori flying off screen for a second. But you'll mostly forget these things when you're constantly immersed in this well thought out world. There's many simple design choices that are very intelligent but easy to not appreciate, such as the use of color. Things like enemies or hazards can be very purple to show danger, but this rich blue is a sign for helpful things, like clean water, spirit fragments, or even the blue moss you can climb onto. It makes navigating the world so intuitive. For $30, you're getting quite the experience. I was able to fully complete the game and a lot of the achievements in about 17 hours. And I would also expect a casual playthrough without being obsessive over collectibles to range around 10 to 12 hours. So for around $2 to $3 per hour, it's a pretty good value, especially with how good each aspect is. But what makes it all truly worth playing is how refined the experience is when you bring all of them together with such a great story. And that's it for Ori and the Will of the Wisps. Be sure to like this video if it helped you out, or subscribe to see my thoughts on upcoming titles. You can check out my social media by clicking on the links in the description below and see what other games I have in mind to review even before a video is released.